As you've seen in the previous Logstorm Getting Started tutorial, how creating assets and rules leads to triggering active incidents. Today's tutorial will focus mostly on rules, creating, editing them, and other options. Within the Logstorm Java GUI, navigate to the Rules tab at the top. Rules are logic condition based on knowledge of how real-life attacks occur. Rules involve the correlation of multiple threads and incorporate a logic-based series of events known to occur with relationship to certain attacks. There are 64 default system rules that come shipped with the Logstorm Virtual Appliance, all of which are completely customizable. All system rules can be copied, as well as creating new rules from the ground up. There are several rule components to be aware of as you highlight rules from the rule list in the upper pane. The lower pane will give you the details of the rules within 4 basic tabs: General, Configuration, Events Conditions, and Incidents. On the General tab, users may enable and disable the rule, as well as view rule description and suggested first and secondary responses. All fields are customizable. Moving to the Configuration tab, we'll start to see how the rule is put together. This host port scan rule is monitoring for informational traffic in all directions, looking for 10 distinctive ports being scanned in a matter of 60 seconds. The rule weight, on a scale of 0.0 to 1.0, allows users to set the importance of a rule relative to rules of lesser importance in your environment. Rule weight, combined with asset value, which is defined on the asset within the Assets tab, results in the severity level of a triggered incident. 1 of 10 defined threat classes will be assigned to the traffic that triggers this rule. This can also assist in the graphing and reporting of all traffic. Moving to Event Conditions tab, this gives users simplified and advanced options of customizing any rule via inclusionary or exclusionary criteria. You may include or exclude IP addresses, ports, or even timeframes from the processing of any individual rule. We will discuss the advanced options in a moment. And then moving on to the Incidents tab, users can view any new or open incident that may have been triggered by this individual rule. Users may also double-click on any incident to retrieve more details. Users may also right-click on the incident in order to dismiss. Any changes made to the rule can be committed by hitting Apply in the lower right-hand corner. Otherwise, click Reset to clear any changes. If changes have been applied and the default rule settings are desired, simply choose the Restore Defaults button back on the configuration screen. In many cases, users may want to keep the default system rule unchanged, but they desire to create a new custom rule of their own using some of the default configuration. Users may simply select the rule from the rule list above and click Copy. This brings up the Copy Rule window. The Copy Rule window gives users 2 tabs to configure. Users may customize the rule name, description, responses, and the configuration for the copied custom rule. After which, users can click OK to create the rule. This will then add the copied rule as a C or custom rule for the rule ID within the rule list. Users may further configure their copied custom rule with new event conditions. These event conditions can be inclusionary or exclusionary ports, IP addresses, or timeframes. after which you may click Apply. The copying of standard system rules is the easiest way of customizing rules to fit your environment. If you wish to keep some of the event conditions of the default system rule that was originally copied, it is easy to add them to the newly created rule. Simply go to the original system rule, the Events Conditions tab, and select Copy to Other Rules. Choose the newly created copied rule and click OK. And all of the exclusionary criteria, everything from the original system rule, will be present in the selected copied custom rule, which you may further customize. This type of customization would help users to exclude lists of IP address of internal monitors from triggering the rule, which may trigger additional incidents. This is in addition to excluding the ports from the original system rule. If users would prefer, they can create new rules from scratch by clicking the New button. This will access 12 unique rule templates from which to start. As an example, criteria matching rules are specific criteria match correlated from within log files from multiple devices. The rule can be configured to match one or many of the 260 monitor categories. These categories map to any source event coming to the LogStorm appliance. Users may further specify directionality of monitor traffic. Also, the inclusion or exclusion of individual words, the inclusion or exclusion of keyword lists, as well as conditional expressions. There are also options for setting how many occurrences per monitor time interval will trigger the rule, as well as a setting of rule weight, and of course setting your threat class and giving the thread name prefix label for further investigation of an incident that's triggered. Click OK to commit, and sort by ID within the rules list, and you'll see your new custom rule has been created. Now going back to the host port scan rule that was copied, within the event conditions, we talked about simple options users have for including and excluding ports, IP addresses, timeframes, etc. Rather than using an individual entry approach for each rules, users have an option of using something called lists. There are IP, keyword, and ports lists available for users to use. We're just going to focus on the IP list at the moment. From within the IP list, users can create and manage specific lists of IP addresses. For example, if users have specific scanners and monitors that may create increased scan traffic and cause unnecessary incidents to be triggered, users can choose to add scanner IP addresses to an IP list. This can be done indefinitely or for a specific time frame. For instance, if it's just an audit or temporary scan. Once clicking Apply, you've added new IP addresses to this individual IP list, and this list can now be applied to any rule. Going back to the host port scan event criteria, we now can add a new condition for excluding a source list of IP addresses. This list can now be managed and monitored without having to change every rule that this list is included in. Click Apply, and then you've committed that change to an individual custom rule. With the creation of new and custom rules, there are several ways of organizing all rules on the screen. One of which is creating rule groups. Creating rule groups allow users to add rules to one or multiple groups for easy access. Users can easily locate rules for customers, locations, or other specific purposes by managing or creating rule groups. Users can further remove or manage or create new rule groups by simply right-clicking on the selected rule group. To clear the rule groups and to view all rules, simply click on the white section below Rule Groups. Users may also utilize the rule filter. Filters are seen throughout the LogStorm GUI, and in this case we can filter rules by multiple criteria or simply filter by name. For example, if we want to see any rules that have to do with scanning, we can just type scan and all the scan related rules will show up in the rule list and nothing else. To remove filters, simply click Filter and Clear in the lower right hand corner. This covers most of the basic rules features you'll find on the LogStorm virtual appliance. For more information not included in this tutorial, please refer to the documentation found on the Black Stratus website. Thanks for watching and enjoy your new LogStorm virtual server.